doesn't he fly his own, make his own schedule?
Well, for the same reason I have him walk to the office. You'd be surprised how many people resent the millionaire's private plane.
I take it you primed the press.
The news and the Post you prime, the Times you brief. Let me have the statement. Okay, let's go.
You know Mike Miller?
I do, Mike.
This is Miss Dowling, Mr. Monroe.
Getting right to the possibility of changes in the bill, Congressman. The money rider.
I'm afraid no possibility.
Then you disagree with the president's speech?
No comment, and I smiled when I said that.
Is there any truth to the report that you were predominant in pushing through the medical research appropriation?
Forget that. I don't want to take credit for something a lot of good men worked on.
Don't forget it, boys. Remember it. Just don't use it now.
Mr. Hansen, it is fair to ask why you left Washington in the middle of a legislative debate.
Why the whole team is rallying around?
Yes, it's fair to ask.
In other words, no comment, eh?
That's right.
Seriously, sir, is there something on this?
There's no problem, Marshal, either political or personal.
What about personnel?
Every trip up here of mine has to be a crisis. You'll excuse me, gentlemen, I have to get back to my office. Thank you very much. Who's been shooting his mouth off about that Neil Brock thing? I told you to have him looked into on the QT. What did your investigator do? Go to the newspapers?
We're just fishing. There's been no leak. Nothing was it?
Sounds like somebody's been careless.
Never. Besides, what difference would it make?
Come on. If you were Neil Brock, how would you like to find out about your new job in the newspaper before you even told about it yourself?
I have been like Stonewall Jackson, wrapped in my beard and my silence.
Someone talked. When are you seeing the Times, man?
At 3. But to give a full statistical picture, I'll need at least an hour.
All right, fine. Put down 4 to 4:30 for the Times, Phil. Now, Mike?
Chuck, can you give us a line to your approach on the piece?
I always stick with policy on 4 and 8, you know that.
Well, Bo and I have been going over your European notes for the book, and there's a lot of good quotes there. People stuff. For instance, you might try this tack. While cold figures are, of course, important, even more important is the effect of 4 and 8 on the individual. Your trip to Italy, and so forth, so forth. The anecdotal material. People stuff.
Fine, fine. I'll think about it.
Oh, listen, don't knock it. Look at all the mileage Mr. J got out of the camel driver.
Bo?
I'll need an hour to go over a couple of drafts, Charles.
You make it half?
And the preface to the book.
All right, 1 hour it is. Phil?
In order of consequence, Teamsters breakfast at 7 tomorrow.
7? The next meeting of the Wages and Hours Subcommittee, I shall propose a law against 7 o'clock in the morning.
And a sticky one, reception at the Israeli embassy for the new UN delegate, and a reception at the Waldorf by the United Arab Republic for the retiring minister.
Mike?
Warmest regrets. Personal stationery, handwritten postscript. Plead sudden involvement.
We have one, Phil?
More.
More?
Mothers of retarded, emotionally, M-O-R-E. A small group, Charles, just organizing, meeting in a school. They called, I said I'd speak to you.
Anything else?
The usual, charities, foundations, dinners.
All right, I shall talk to the mothers.
I said you would.
I mean, what do they want?
More. More education, more research, therapy, more understanding.
Well, they're not even in the
No.
district.
It's settled. Now, what else?
The Teamsters breakfast?
Mike?
You better go. Hodges is going to be there from the 45th. So are half the workers from his district. I've got 3 of our own people going. That's one of those things, Chuck. It can't make you look good by being there, but Hodges can make you look bad if you're not, labor-wise.
All right, 7 o'clock it is. Now then, let's get down to brass tacks. Neil Brock.
How will you have it, Chuck? Opinion or fact?
Facts first, please.
Bill? You all know Mr. Hartman.
Yeah, what do you do?
Go ahead, Bill.
Mr. Representative, confidential to Michael K. Miller for C.W. Hansen, subject Neil Brock. Now, the subject was born 6/24/28, 40 Oliver Street, Lower East Side, first-generation American. Father, Mieczyslaw Brachibski. Mother, Maria Brachibski.
Why did he change his name?
The same reason the cop dragged the horse around the corner from Kosciuszko Street.
Father, a sandhog. Died of a heart attack, age 44.
44.
Mother was a charwoman, died 1939, tuberculosis.
That would make him 11 years old.
That's right. Subject lived after her death with friends and relatives from the old country. In 1946, we find the record very clear. Wisconsin University Athletic Scholarship. Upon graduation, was inducted into military service. Served as second lieutenant, was in retreat from the Yalu, wounded, honorable discharge 1953.
Good.
We next find the subject Brock as an investigator for the Department of Social Welfare for the next 10 years, with sabbatical for his master's in social work at Columbia. Do you want reports from his superiors, co-workers, professors?
No.
1962. A series of articles in a newspaper, copies available of this, severely criticizing welfare and social work practices in New York, written without the permission of his departmental superiors.
Oh, great.
This resulted, apparently, in subject's prompt dismissal. Subject then joined community welfare service as a social worker, which brings us up to date. There are reports on various aspects of his functioning at CWS. They're available, but further interest, however.
Is he now, or has he ever been
No political alignment on record.
married?
Divorced. Oh, but if you want to go into that aspect, there have been subsequent non-marital involvements.
No, that's all right. Can you wrap it up?
Yes, sir. Health is excellent. Salary on the order of $7,700.
After taxes?
Well, before. Suspensions from college? 2. Reinstatements? 2. Cause unknown. Court-martials during service? 1. Charge: disregarding specific orders. Outcome: dismissal of charge. Arrests? 3. Now, in each instance, disturbing the peace in connection with a public demonstration. In each instance, subject was dismissed without formal charge. Respectfully submitted.
Any questions?
You have documentation. Oh, service records, transcripts, birth certificates, so forth. Yes, sir.
All right, thank you very much. Seth?
Charles, I don't think you'll do. This is not opinion. This is observation. I can only say that I have looked into some of his reports. I've read some of his papers, his speeches. And this man has no respect for figures, statistics. He uses them. He fires them off. He flaunts them. Sometimes carelessly, more often deliberately. To him, a statistic is ammunition. A simple factual percentage is a battle cry. He's a man to admire, perhaps respect. But I could not work with him. I would never know what he might do with what I might give him.
Bo?
All I know is what the little man read from his papers. True, Charles, I've gathered a sense of the man from some of the things you've told me. Not that it would prejudice me, Charles. He has a style, Charles. He seems to be an original, cut to no pattern but his own. And there's the rub. Seems never to let I dare not wait upon I will. Full speed ahead and damn the conventional. Style, Charles.
Mike?
The answer's no. Never in a million years. He'll never make the team. There's only room for one quarterback, one set of signals, Now, you say pass, we pass. You say buck, we buck. Now, you tell him pass, and you'll find yourself watching him running down the field, probably in the wrong direction.
All depends on the goal, Mike. He might lead us to the right one.
Is that what you want? I thought you wanted a legislative consultant on social welfare, not a coach. Look, the man's good, I grant you, but, well, he's a collector of injustices. He has to be from his background. And where he goes, trouble comes. You want help, not trouble. Trouble is exactly what we need a plentiful absence of, especially in an election year. I can't see him, Chuck. Let him go on busting his lances at the agency. Stay on the right side of him, help him when we can, but take him aboard now. The man's a riderless horse. It's too late in life to break him.
I like him. Period.
Tell me more, comma.
Well, it seems to me that the things you've brought up against him are the things in his favor. For one reason, Charles. He's real. He sounds real. He sounds honest. He has lights and principles. Well, look, let's be honest with ourselves. I don't think he's concerned with projecting an image. I don't think he's ever bothered to sit down and figure out, ever has had the time and the luxury to sit down and figure out what he stands for because he's been too busy standing for it. Maybe I could be wrong.
Well, you've skirted the whole issue. Does he or doesn't he fit the team?
I don't know. No, I take that back. He doesn't. I know that, but I like him.
So do I. I agree there have to be some changes made. And I don't mean in the team. I like him. I want him.
Chuck, he doesn't fit.
Get him.
Come on. The doctor's not going to hurt you.
Not going to hurt you. We're only going to help you.
No, don't let him do it. No.
We're only going to help you now. This won't hurt a bit. Atta boy. Atta boy.
Bit at a time, and you're all fixed.
There you go. It's not going to hurt at all.
Field. Unless you were kidding about knowing his name.
No, I know it.
Well, maybe some Social Security, a family death benefit.
You get the benefits. They haven't got nothing coming. Somebody must have stole his shoes.
Somebody's watering this thing behind my back. Or they ain't watering behind my back or something.
Neil? Neil?
Huh?
This is Mr. Miller. From Representative Hansen's staff.
Oh, yes, of course. Well, public relations.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. Well, please come right in. Won't you sit down? Sit right here, Mr. Miller.
Mike, we'll end up eventually on a first-name basis, if not a name-calling one.
What am I to make of that, Gavin?
If you will excuse me.
Now, please stay, Mrs. Hacklinger. I've heard Neil doesn't stand on protocol, but I'd rather play this in the open. Yes. No ploys, no garments, Neil. Straight opening. Chuck Hansen wants you to come to work for him.
Would you like some coffee?
Legislative consultant on social welfare.
As a matter of fact, Mr. Miller, Congressman Hansen has frequently consulted the CWS in almost exactly that capacity.
Yes, I know. Did you recognize the Brock touch in Hansen's remarks in the Congressional Record on Urban Renewal?
I didn't read it, I'm afraid.
Oh, you must have been fairly pleased with his work on the Hill on the medical research money.
Yeah. We had to push him around a little bit, though.
Nobody pushes Hansen around. Oh, you give him a nudge. You give him a handful of alternatives. You tell him. Straight from the shoulder, no apple polishing where you think he should be heading, but picks his own route. That has to be understood.
Well, what would I be doing over there? I mean, what would I do with Hansen?
For Hansen.
Yeah. What could I be doing better working for Hansen that I'm not doing here in my field?
Everything.
Name one.
You saw. Dr. Warren's got his grant. It all boils down to one word, Neil. Power. A voice in Congress. A line to the public information media, newspapers, television, radio, magazines. We're a team, Neil. We're staffed over there. Where we're shorthanded is your bailiwick, social work. The broader aspects of the general public welfare. Chuck feels that we need a solider sense of...
Of people?
Yes, it could add up to that. We have a speechwriter, an economist, social secretary, researchers, and image maker. Suppose we do need a people-type person.
Well, I'm honored.
That's funny. I heard you were honest.
All right, John Alden. Why did he send you to propose?
But I don't speak for myself. We're a team, Neil. Chuck Hansen wants you on it. And if you feel he needs you on it, I don't have to sell you to him. He sold on you. If you feel you can work with us for Chuck, help him in what he stands for, help him in what he's driving at down in Washington, then we're for you. We're with you. Well, listen, I don't expect you to leap at this in the next 15 seconds. Why don't we go get a drink? Get to meet us, dig us, then think.
All right, sometime soon. If it isn't all that pressing.
Well, it's not a matter of life and death, no, but you know the legislative calendar. For instance, we begin next week on hearings on the Becerra bill.
That's migrant workers, isn't it? How's that coming?
Well, there's a whole position to be prepared on that. You know, Chuck doesn't operate off the top of his head. As a matter of fact, while we're on the subject, you could be on a plane to the Salinas lettuce fields in 48 hours. Because you know where to start, what to look for, where to dig, how to add it all up people-wise. Well, what about that drink? Mrs. Hackling there, do come along.
Rain check, huh?
Fine. Chuck's in town. Up to here and this and that. But he wants to get with you before he goes back.
Well, I will. Tell you what, you tell him Marcus is thinking.
Well, call about that drink.
Well, so we're finally going to lose you. Jane, tear up all Neil's old resignations.
What?
He's leaving us.
You're going with Representative Hansen.
Take it easy, ladies, not so fast.
Of course you are going. Why, from a purely practical point of view. CWS-wise. You realize you can do more for us over there than you can do here?
Well, thank you very much for that fine estimate.
Why, we can refer cases to him. Can you imagine what it could have been like if we had had an in with the congressman for that demonstration?
Oh, sure. I could have gone to jail in style. A chauffeured car to the lockup.
There are so many things you can accomplish now.
Now that you two have buried the body, you mind thinking a little? Let's have a little thought.
Don't you be a stubborn ass. If you don't take it, I'll fire you. You'll have to take the job.
No, I don't have to do anything I don't want to do. That guy, that string puller, he kills me. Our team. That's something? Who's doing what to who? Who's manipulating whom? Yeah. The finger moves the marionette. But you know something? When the marionette moves, the finger has to move too. Is he selling me Hansen? Or is he selling me an image of Hansen that he's made? What do I know about Hansen except what he's printed in the paper? Sure. I could use the money. I could use the power, too. Maybe I could use Hansen. What do you think about that? For sure he's going to use me. For sure he knows enough about me. Well, we're going to find out some about him, too. You, too.
What, Neil?
We're going to investigate him.
Hansen is as Hansen does.
Well, especially on the civil rights question, Neil. You know, one of the interviewers was a Southern newspaperman, and they went at it pretty hot and heavy.
Well, that's perfectly safe. He's not running for office in the South. But voting is something else. How's his voting record?
Well, on 19 out of 23 social issues, he voted positively. On the others, he abstained because of amendments tacked on, which would have diluted the original legislation. On 79 roll calls, he was out only 13 times. And 5 of those times, he was out of Washington on government business. He works at his job, Neil.
And I'll tell you, he didn't buy his job.
Yeah. I've never seen anybody shaking any tin cans in the corner trying to get campaign funds for Charles Hansen.
Oh, that's true. But my junior league ladies who worked on his campaign tell me that he turned down hedging contributions.
Hedging? What's that?
Oh, that is a common practice among many big contributors. They play it safe, contribute to both parties' campaign chests, so that no matter who wins, they can't lose. What I'm trying to say, in my own little way, is that I don't think he can be bought. And I'll tell you something else. I'm not at liberty to give the specific source or the facts. But you know the letterhead bit?
Yeah. Noble citizens on the executive committees who do nothing but lend their names, right?
When he lends his name to a cause or an institution, he doesn't turn out for the testimonial dinners, but he gives his time and his money.
It's deductible.
What is the matter with you? What do you want? Skeletons in his closet?
I don't know.
Don't you like the man?
It's not a question of liking him or not liking him. It's a question of trust. Something about him makes me very uneasy, you know what I mean?
No. And I don't think you do either.
Thank you. Neil, if this gets out... If this gets out, it's my shield.
Oh, it's confidential, isn't it? What do you got?
Well, the vital statistics you got, right?
Right.
And the Navy report?
Right.
All right, here. Arrests. Subject was apprehended while operating a motor vehicle in excess of posted limits on the Merritt Parkway.
When is that?
22350.
1950, make him 22. He must have been in college.
He was charged with a triple violation.
And Papa pulled string.
Look, this is on my own time. Will you let me finish?
I'm sorry.
Subject was released in his own recognizance for appearance in court.
And Papa got him off?
Subject made appearance, pleaded guilty.
And he got a slap in the wrist.
$100 fine and 3-month suspension. And the state cops report the kid thanked them.
What do you know about that?
Well, just a couple more things, Neil. 6 years ago, he reported a stolen car. The 19th picked up a couple kids riding around in it. What does he do? But he wants to drop the charges.
Why?
The 19th said he felt guilty leaving a convertible out overnight, you know, temptation. Well, they explained he wasn't making the charges. It was the county of New York. With that, what does he do? Sends down somebody from his law firm to defend him.
Were they convicted?
Yeah. Car theft. They took a 2-year jolt in Elmira on a 1293A.
And where are the boys now?
Well, one ended up in an alley with a hot shot. Right on my beat. And the other, If you want to save yourself a busted nose, don't call Hansen any names where a chauffeur can hear you. And that's not in the papers. Well, back to the hot payments. Oh, another thing. No, too. Listen, it's kind of a secret, but not that much of a secret. It's so good, even the newspaper guys don't let in on it. They know it. It's the Harry Truman bit.
What about?
Well, you know, the sidewalk interview.
Yeah, what do you...
While he's walking on his way to work.
Yeah?
Well, he takes a different route every day. They say that Miller tells him exactly what routes to take. Then he tips off the newspaper guys where to catch him.
That makes sense. It's good public exposure. Shake a lot of hands, you kiss a lot of babies.
Sure. But one of these days, some smart photographer's going to catch him getting out of his limousine 2 blocks away from where the newspaper guys are.
Yeah, could be. That's pretty good. Miss Dolly.
Yes.
I'm Neil Brock.
Oh, Mr. Brock. Well, I'll tell Representative Hansen you're here. Mr. Brock, please come in.
Understand? That I don't trust. I think maybe it's your old man. Or maybe it's his fault. Maybe it's his old man. I think the whole Hansen clan is all too rich for my blood.
What am I supposed to do? Apologize for being rich? I'm not ashamed of being a millionaire, you know. Comes in very handy. I was born rich, you were born Brochibsky.
Yeah, well, ain't exactly the money I'm talking about. It's everything else that you inherited along with the fabulous empire and the paltry millions. Your wants and desires, you know. I know that your material desires have certainly been satisfied, but what do you want, Mr. Congressman? I mean, where are you going that you want me to come along? Where are you heading that you think I'm the man to go with you? Maybe I should say take.
Did your father ever sum up for you all the things that he'd learned in life?
Every other day. He always used to say it the same way. Nothing in this world you don't get less to fight for. You don't fight, it ain't worth nothing. It didn't matter whether it was a nickel for a pretzel or a dream of going to college. The answer, you got to fight. Don't see any scars on you.
I've just begun to fight. Now, my father. He always used to say, to live is to choose. Set goals for yourself. Fight for them. Throw yourself at them. Well, this is what I believe. This is what I want. The rule of law. Equal and just law for everyone. Everywhere. No matter who they are. Black or white, rich or poor, powerful or weak. Person or nation. East or west. Agricultural or industrial. Fat and established or poor. Underdeveloped. Emergent. And I suppose because my business experience has been international, I want to see an international monetary system. No strong dollars and weak pounds. No steady marks and francs and fluctuating pesos, drachmas, krona. So an international trade can be built. This is a model of the Henry W. Hansen. Hansen built, Hansen financed. Out of Hansen steel, fueled on Hansen diesel oil, hauling Hansen machine tools, and grain, and meat, and powdered milk, and rice, and drugs, and bread. Some of it paid for, most of it just given. I want to see a world food bank, an international ever-stocked pantry, and someday no sick, hungry people, especially children. But the world can get overstocked, too. We need population control before we breed ourselves out of food-growing space, living space, working space. My grandfather was a shoemaker. That's his hammerhead. That'll belong to my son someday. He went to work with a hammer. And now Hansen International is automating the hell out of itself. Jobs, work. I want to keep a place for people in the industrial, the agricultural, the productive scheme of things.
I think you left something out.
And the most important thing my father ever taught me, something he's been beating into my head for as long as I can remember, the need for communication between people. World communication. An international language. Now, what was it that I left out?
I don't know, it's kind of difficult to explain. Look, let me show. Maybe this will give you an example. This is a case book. You see, I got all sorts of, you can start, it doesn't matter where you're talking about monetary system. Here's a woman, doesn't matter what her name is, Mary Doe. She got 3 children. She's on relief. She suffers from arthritis. They're supported on $45.80 a week. You talk about work. She can do some machine sewing at home, piecework, here a little, there a little. She maybe earn $30 a week, but the point is, the $30 is subtracted from the $45.80. Maybe, look, I sure. You talk about population control, birth control. Here's a case, Roberta Rowe. She has 1 child. The father's unknown. She's 4 months gone with another one. I got a note here. Keep in touch with possible foster parents. She's 15 years old. What? Don't you see what I'm driving at? Well, look, you're talking about law. Here's a beauty. John Doe, picked up 3 months ago as a witness to an armed robbery. Now, the suspects are out on bail, but John Doe's still held in the can. I got a note here, see lawyer, Ray, writ of habeas corpus. Wait a minute. Wait a second. Here's one. Here's a beauty. Hunger. Richard Rowe. It's a school referral. They call him an underachiever. He's inattentive in class. He actually sleeps sometimes. They call it a vitaminosis, malnutrition. His parents squander the income they make on booze. These are my goals. These are my aims. These are my drives. This is my fight. This is my work. I don't have it stashed around over the room to remind me. I have to carry it around in my mind when I'm out there walking the streets.
Those are your goals. They're also your limitations.
Yeah, but they're the things you left out, Mr. Congressman. Now, that big one-man UN you're talking about, that millennium. People can't stick around and wait for whipped cream tomorrow, Congressman. They gotta have pork and beans today, now.
Fine. You stay there. Stay right there with that person-by-person, hand-to-mouth operation, and 10 years from now, 20 years from now, you'll still be doing the same thing for what's-her-name? That pregnant kid's daughter. You talk about the millennium, you want exactly the same thing that I want. And I can get it because I've got the power and the organization and the connections. You give me any one of those cases, a half an hour, 3 telephone calls, and I'll solve that case to your satisfaction. Is that what you want? Is that going to make you happy? A weekly food basket for the reliever? A foster home for the illegitimate child? Is that all you want out of what you can do? Is that all you think I can do for you?
Yeah, right now.
Oh, look, listen to me. You name me 6 specific things that you think can be done by this government. The constitutional, the legislative aspect of this government. And you give me this session in Congress, and I'll give you a broad gauge approach, a solution to every... All right, an amelioration on 2 of them. And I'll fall flat on my face on 2 of them this time. And the other 2, I'll get the people behind me, and I'll give you exactly the solution you want.
Oh, and you're going to be way out there fighting for the people, huh? You know, I'm beginning to understand this whole thing. It's just beginning to come through to me. You're saying to me, Brock, old buddy, I need you, kid. I can't make it without you. You know what you're saying to me? You're saying, Brock, you got something I ain't got. You're saying I can reach in for the people, but I can't touch it. I feel for them, but I can't feel with them. Isn't that what you're saying? You know why you can't feel with them? You know why you can't reach them? Because you're too well-bred, buddy. You're too cerebral. You're too blind.
Wait. Who the hell are you? What the hell makes you think you've got the people in the palm of your little hand? Just because you come from their kind? What the hell do you think my people come from? Something other than blood and bone? You think they're just portraits in a gallery called American Economic History? All right, I admit it. You've got them and I haven't. And you can get to them and I can't. That's funny, isn't it? Roosevelt had it, and he was a Hudson River Valley patroon. Ike had it, and he was high military brass. And JFK had it, despite his wealth. Well, you've either got it or you don't.
And you'll never have it.
There was a long time, mister. I agree you've got something I need, but I've got something you need. Something I could teach you, or maybe superimpose on you.
Whatever it is, I don't want it.
It's called class, Mr. Brock. Class.
Goodbye, Charlie.
Just a minute. By 1976, I intend to be President of the United States. And that's not un-American. And I think you know I can do it. I intend to use you for what I want. But you get to use me for what you want, too. What you think has to be done for those people you're so worried about. And lots more, Mr. Brock. Because a voice that whispers from Washington speaks very loudly around the world. Now, you want that? Well, you're not going to get it by yourself. And you're not going to get it the way you are. You're too fat. You're too sloppy. You're too proud of being so humble. You're overbearing. You're arrogant. You think all the shots you call are the only ones, the only right ones, and you want to call them all? You think you're the first person who ever discovered disease, and illiteracy, and poverty, and ill housing, and illegitimacy, and dope. I can't believe that you're too stupid to make a few little changes in Neil Brock for the sake of some big changes in the lives of those people you serve, and their children, and their children's children. All right. Either want the job or you don't. If you don't, thanks very much for listening. And if you do, you'll be here at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. I have to catch a noon shuttle to Washington. And if you want the job badly enough, you're going to see some changes made. You're going to lose weight. You're going to go to my tailor. You're going to start seeing shine shoes at the end of your legs. You're going to learn the tricks of the trade, Mr. Brock. The weekly haircut, the cocktail circuit, the private reservation, the public image.
Why do I have to line up with your image?
Because that's what the electorate sees, and I represent the electorate, and you represent me. All right. 11 o'clock it is.
But it is the way to go. Who are you trying to fool?
Nobody! I want it so bad I can taste it.
Then take it.
Like iron in my mouth, like a bit in my mouth. He's going to be sitting on the saddle. He's going to be tearing my head off.
You hate him that much.
Myself, too. Don't you understand that? I hate myself. I want it. I don't want it. I can't stand all that cheap phony.
What are you looking for?
My case book.
That is what I have been trying to tell you, Neil. The whole point, Neil. You are bigger than cases, casework. Neil, I've seen, I've hired, I've known dozens of them, caseworkers, with their big, big drives and their 3x5 limitations. Will you stop that? Well, where did you have it last?
Hansen's office. I left it on the desk.
Did you? Oh, Neil. Take it or don't take it, but stop tearing yourself to pieces. Neil, once in the middle of an election for the president, I had this nightmare. There was this gigantic adding machine in my dream. Numbers going around like the speedometer, click, 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 in the millions. Then there was a smaller machine in the thousands, and a smaller one still in the hundreds. And then one very little tiny one, 7, 8, 9. And then I realized that those numbers were votes, people voting. And then they stopped. And in my dream, the big machine was the whole country, and the smaller machine was the state. You see? Votes. And the country depended on my state, and my state on my city, and my city on my district, and my district on me. But the whole thing hung on me. And I woke up crying. Because it was too big to depend on me. What if he does make it? Just the Senate. And he has that one vote that will make the difference. Maybe to the whole country. And you can make the difference in the way he decides. Or the White House. To veto or not to veto. And some other Neil Brock is there to be used. Or to use for the biggest number. Somebody else is there who might not be big enough. Oh, don't throw it away.
Person, hand-to-mouth operation, and 10 years from now, 20 years from now, you'll still be doing the same thing. I just can't believe you're too stupid to make a few little changes in yourself for the sake of some big changes in the lives of those people you serve.
Maybe he was trying to get back to the hotel.
Well, you never give up, do you?
Well, it could happen, couldn't it?
Oh, it couldn't happen. Even if it could, what difference does it make? Look at it.
He was trying to get back to the hotel.
What is the matter with you?
It was that Billy that does this to him. Hadn't been for Billy, this wouldn't have happened.
It's not Billy. It's Sam doing it to himself. Will you please look at him? He can't get to that grave fast enough. Can't you see that? I don't know what you expect me to do about it, what you want anybody to do about it. For 20 years, you're going to mourn her standing over a corpse. If you think you're not, then you want to die yourself. Maybe you all want to die. I don't know. Exactly how you feel.
Oh, you understand how I feel? Have you lived for years on a mined road without knowing from one day to the next when something's going to blow up in your face? You understand from what? Textbooks? Where'd you get the gold? You have a son, you have a Georgie. Have you ever conceived of living a life with a child where the two of you have to watch him every minute of the day? The two of you never alone except in bed? And even then you're afraid you're going to make a mistake and bring another one into the world. What do you know?
Hello, Mr. Brock.
Representative Hansen expects me at 11, I think.
Yes, I know. Mr. Miller, Mr. Brock is here. Representative Hansen took the 10 o'clock shuttle to Washington. You're to use his office. I have it all set up. You're to meet with Mr. Miller this afternoon. There's a position to be worked up on public law number 78.